I suppose you've been waiting for this to happen. Of course, you couldn't have warned me. Much too interesting.
Wasn't that interesting?
True, I didn't drown. It'll be at least 10 minutes before the tide can reach me here. You'll make the interval much less painful for both of us if you'll go back to your games until then.
I can't.
I promised to call you before it's time for me to get wet again.
I can't play my game. Someone stole my ball.
Oh, who would steal your ball? There are no other children on this beach.
Well, there are grown-ups.
Look here, you don't think I stole your ball, do you?
Oh, no. You're from Scotland Yard.
What?
Miss Clara told me. You don't ever steal things. You get them back.
Oh, you want me to get your ball back?
Well...
Did it ever occur to you, Miss Clara, that even a policeman should have a holiday?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have told Roger who you were.
Come along, Roger. Excuse me, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but my young friend here seems to have lost a ball from his game.
I didn't lose it. It was stolen.
Well, at any rate, it seems to have disappeared. It was a ball about, how big?
So big.
So big. You haven't seen it by any chance, have you?
Well, perhaps it rolled into the water. Have you looked along the water's edge? The tide's just coming in. It might have rolled the ball up.
If someone stole it, it wouldn't be there.
Exactly, and that's just where we're going to look. Excuse us, please.
Well, Norman, going for your swim?
Yes, I think perhaps I'd better. Tide's almost over the end of the jetty. If I don't go now, I shan't be able to dive.
You really are a polar bear. I'm freezing.
It's against my advice.
If I'd listened to the advice of my doctors, I'd have been dead years ago. Wait for me here, I shan't be long.
Do you think he should be doing all this swimming and diving with his heart?
He couldn't do it with anyone else's.
Oh, don't joke, Bob. You're his doctor. He shouldn't exercise the way he does.
He shouldn't do most of the things he does. But he's Norman Kane, and he didn't make his money by taking care of himself. Well, you ought to know that. You're his secretary. Now, that's the only way he can live. Take that away from him, and he might as well be dead. And, he shouldn't be playing with nursemaids half his age, either.
I'm going back to the house.
Miss Clara. Take the boy.
What's the matter? Did you see him fall down? Did he hurt himself? What happened?
Oh, no.
I'm afraid he's dead.
Heart?
I'm his doctor. A very bad heart. He would never take medical advice.
Are you certain he's dead?
Not a trace of a pulse.
Poor chap.
He's too tightly wedged between the rocks. We can't possibly move him. I'd better get some help in the stretcher. No good going back. He's dead.
A heart attack?
I'm afraid so.
No, Roger, no. We're going home.
I don't want to go home. This is interesting. I want to know what's happened.
Nothing happened, Roger. And nothing's going to happen. Not anymore. Nothing. Roger, come on.
Oh, Doctor, do you live near here?
We're staying at Norman's house. It's just beyond the dune there.
Is there a telephone there?
Yes.
We'd better ring the police.
Police? Why the police? It was an accident. His heart failed.
The heart also fails when death is not accidental.
You mean Norman committed suicide?
Let's call the police.
Somebody once said that you can tell about a man from his books. But I wonder about that. I don't believe it's any more true that you can tell a book from its cover. You know, personally, I've always been able to tell more about a man from what he ate, or what he didn't eat. Scones! Oh, delicious. Beautiful. I hope you don't mind.
Do you mean what he eats or how much?
What, of course. All you can tell from how much is whether or not a man's a pig.
Why don't they come? We called over an hour ago.
They'll be here soon enough. I'll drink your tea. I'll go.
Dr. Hastings?
That's right. Won't you walk right in, please?
Thank you. I'm Superintendent Morgan.
Oh, how do you do?
This is Inspector Ames from Scotland Yard.
This is Miss Marion Williams.
I won't waste your time with preliminaries, Doctor. We've just come from the jetty. That body you reported is no longer there.
What?
The tide arrived before we did. Washed the body out to sea. That is, if there was a body.
Of course there was a body.
Then why wasn't it carried into shore?
Well, Norman was a very heavy man, and the body was lodged between the rocks, and, well, we couldn't lift him.
We?
That gentleman there. Ask him, he'll tell you.
The doctor is quite right. The body could not be dislodged.
Colonel March, what the devil are you doing here?
I was enjoying the sea air.
But I thought you were supposed to be on holiday. Is this your idea of fun and games? What did you do with the body?
Me? Nothing, my dear fellow. I just observed it. And what on earth do you mean, my idea? I should say it was more the idea of whoever killed Norman Kane.
I thought he was supposed to have died of a heart attack.
Perhaps. But when I reached under his body to try to move him, I found blood.
Oh, well, he may have cut himself falling. Those rocks are sharp.
Mm-hmm. Well, so is this. I found it near the body.
A hat pin?
Not quite. Excuse me, my dear, but where is the air rifle that we were using on the beach this morning?
Wait a moment, Marion. You don't have to tell them a thing.
Why not? I have nothing to hide.
Who is this nosy body, anyway?
He's the leading nosy baddie in the world. Colonel March, the Department of Queer Complaints, Scotland Yard.
Now may I see the air rifle?
Over there in the corner.
Now, see here.
Well, thank you very much. I do see. Right over here. Now, Ames, as you know, a rifle of this kind ordinarily fires a lead bullet. But if you take the cleaning rod and cut off about 2/3 of it, sharpen what is left to a needle point, the result will be...
Look out!
A missile that could be shot in the ordinary way, but with murderous effect.
Do you mean Kane was killed with that?
That's absolute nonsense.
I mean, Kane could have been shot in this manner, but on the other hand, he might have died quite normally from a heart attack.
Which he did.
And what was this doing so close to the body?
But I was on my way back to the house. I heard Bob call out. I turned back.
Who said you didn't?
Well, you're all looking at me. I didn't kill Norman.
Who said you did?
We used the gun for amusement, that's all. I didn't kill him.
Let her alone. You have no right.
When I mentioned the police, you were afraid. Why? You didn't think Norman Kane died of a heart attack.
Don't answer that, Marion.
You were the only one who were out of sight when Kane fell to his death. You're an expert shot. I watched you on the beach.
Can't you see what you're doing to the girl?
Take it easy, man.
You're the only one who could have shot him. Isn't that so? Isn't it?
Please, I didn't.
Stop it!
Isn't that so?
I said...
Here now, here now, here now.
You have no right. I won't allow you to bully her just because you're a policeman.
No, I told you to take it easy. We'll do the allowing round here. Are you all right, Colonel?
I'll survive.
I'm sorry. I lost my head.
Let's see now, where were we? Oh, yes. Norman Kane was shot. Only one person could have done it. This young lady here.
But look here.
I'll do the talking. But on the other hand, if Kane died of a heart attack, why do you want to protect her? For one reason only.
What reason?
Norman Kane didn't have a bad heart at all.
If it's for me, if you're holding back something for me.
Marion. I'm sorry. Norman's heart was as good as yours or mine. Better.
All right. So it's true we haven't enough evidence for more than just suspicion. We haven't even got a corpse yet. But we are combing the beaches, and it's bound to turn up soon enough. Meanwhile, we're keeping the girl restricted to that house. Will you stop playing that blasted game and listen?
I'm listening. You've got the girl under observation. Of course, it'll lead nowhere, but it'll keep your men out in the fresh air. That's always healthy.
I thought it was you who considered her a suspect.
She had opportunity, but no motive.
Well, I'll give you motive. You know who Kane was, don't you?
Big businessman, wasn't he?
Big swindler. One of the biggest. You know the sort of thing? Set up companies with nothing behind them and bled the poor stockholders dry. We only caught up with him last week, and I came down here to take him into custody.
Uh-huh. And this time it was the sea that got there first, huh?
Mere coincidence. He emptied his accounts 2 days ago, and I have a feeling that he was killed for that money.
By the girl?
Well, she was his secretary, bound to have known what he was up to.
Uh-huh.
And I think that she wanted all that money to herself.
Mm-hmm. I'd hoped this was my kind of a case, but you've taken all the fun out of it. Now it's just another greedy little murder.
Oh, it's for you. Some little boy.
Is there a woman with him?
Yes.
Keep her out there, and then send the boy in just a minute. All right, Ames. Oh, Roger, come in, come in. Ames, I want you to meet a friend of mine. This is Inspector Ames, also of Scotland Yard.
How do you do?
We found your ball just a little while ago. Inspector Ames helped me on the case.
That's decent of him.
But I'm afraid the culprit managed to get away before we got a good look at him. But we did find your ball, and that's the important thing, huh?
But that can't be my ball.
Why not?
Because I found my ball this morning.
You did? Where?
On the jetty. I went out to look at the place where Mr. Kane disappeared. There wasn't anything to see, just rocks. But I found my ball stuck between two rocks. See?
Are you sure that's your ball?
Oh, yes. It's got a little mark of paint on it from my painting set.
Were you alone when you found it?
Oh, no. I'm not allowed on the jetty alone. Miss Clara was with me. But if I found my ball, how did you find that one? And what's the culprit?
It's a... I'll explain that to you, Roger, when I see you again. When I see you on the beach.
It's funny you finding the other ball. Are you sure you found it?
Goodbye, Roger.
Wait till the boys at London hear about this.
How did it get onto the jetty?
Well, what difference does it make the boy found it?
It might make all the difference, Ames. You know, this might be my kind of case after all.
Bob, I'm going to run for it.
That's silly.
Well, there's only one man out front. I can get out by the back entrance.
But why? You're innocent.
They don't think so.
Well, all they have is a suspicion. Well, that's not proof. It's nonsensical, the idea of suspecting you.
Is it?
Why, you're incapable of...
Murder? You're wrong, you know. I could have murdered Norman Kane with pleasure many times. He was a cruel, brutal man. I told him so at great length only a few days ago. I said some very strong things, which were overheard.
Oh. I always thought that you and Norman got along so well together.
We did, at first. Too well. Then I made the mistake of falling in love with him. And then he showed me what he was really like.
I see.
I didn't have to tell you, Bob. I wouldn't have if I didn't trust you.
Thank you.
All I seem able to do is to hurt you. Another reason for my going away. I'm sorry, Bob. You might as well learn the truth.
I always seem to arrive too late. The story of my life. I suggest you wait a while. I'll go out and take a cup of tea to that gentleman and engage him in conversation. You can step out the back while I'm talking to him.
Bob, you don't have to help me.
I don't have to love you either, but I do.
And you say you found the ball out on the jetty.
That's right.
Were you looking for it?
Oh, no, I just noticed it among the rocks.
Near where Mr. Kane had been lying.
I guess so. Out near the end.
Did you know Mr. Kane well?
I wouldn't say well. We saw one another on the beach.
You were going away with him, weren't you?
Of course not. You're rude and insolent even to think. You've no right.
Everyone has a right to think. Sit down, my dear. You said something that day out on the beach when you heard that Kane was dead. It stuck in my mind. You said to the boy, nothing's going to happen again. Not anymore. I wonder if you'd tell me what you meant by those words.
Simply that Mr. Kane was dead. And that there would be no more excitement for Roger to see.
Your manner, too, stuck in my mind.
What sort of a manner was it?
It was the manner of a woman speaking of her dead lover.
You're an evil, horrible old man.
Most distressing, but quite irrelevant. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, you're right, you're right. I love Norman. And he's dead.
When were you going away?
Tonight. We were going to France. There we were going to be married.
Were you going to leave from his house?
For some reason why we couldn't. I was to meet him somewhere else.
Where was this other place?
Boathouse, just beyond the village. Norman kept a boat there.
Boathouse. Just beyond the village.
Well, what is it?
This.
Oh, I've got no time for your games. The girl's given us the slip.
So will I.
Goodbye.
Well, Norman, you're a big success. Everyone thinks you're dead. Now you can disappear with the money and live any place you like in the world. Only, you made one mistake. You forgot to be honest with me. You were making love to Marion behind my back. And for that, I'm going to kill you.
Cecil!
Oh, Marion. Dear, sweet Marion. You'll be pleased to know that she stands a very good chance of being hanged for your murder. The police already think she did it. But tonight, the dear, sweet, stupid girl ran away. So they'd be certain. You listening, Norman? I wouldn't want you to miss any of this. Stop shamming, Norman. I know you're awake. Stand up.
The name is March. Colonel March, Department of Queer Complaints. Ah, Ames, I see you got my message. And by the look of triumph on your face, I assume you caught the girl.
On a bus.
Excellent, my boy, excellent. Now you can have the pleasure of releasing her.
Dr. Hastings. Well, what's he got to do with this? And who's been manhandling him?
He lost his head again. I think a pair of handcuffs would be in order, Mr. Morgan.
But what's he got to do with it?
Quite a lot. But of course he wasn't alone in this. The real evil genius is lying over there.
Norman Kane.
Exactly.
And is he dead?
Feel his pulse.
He hasn't got one. He must be dead.
Get up now, Mr. Kane.
But he's got no pulse.
I told you the key to this whole thing was physiological. Will you kindly raise your arm, Mr. Kane? See? He did it with this small ball. You see, if the ball is held tightly against the large artery there like that, it cuts off all circulation and no pulse is felt. I should have thought of that sooner.
I broke no law. A man can amuse himself as he pleases.
What was he after, Colonel?
I only wanted to leave the country with my own money. Hastings decided to kill me for it. That's attempted murder.
Well, come along, Mr. Kane. They want to speak to you in London. And you too, Dr. Hastings. We'll think of some appropriate criminal charge.
I underestimated you, Colonel.
Everyone does, once.
How did you find out?
Because the greedy are usually mean as well, and Kane was no exception. He couldn't resist the temptation of stealing so small a thing as a rubber ball.
I told her not to steal that kid's ball.
Oh, he should be thankful that he did. It saved his life, but not his liberty.